Last week, two armed thugs tried to break into Vince Richie's home. He was just getting back from the gym and looking for his keys when one of the criminals put a gun to his back. His family was inside and he had to react fast. As a concealed carry holder, he threw his hot cup of tea at the guy and started shooting, and they returned fire.
So this is just another example of our government, specifically the Democrats, not wanting us as American citizens to protect ourselves. They would rather have you let armed thugs accost you and possibly hurt you or kill you, or get into your home where your family is. That's what happened to this man, Vince Richie, in California, when he was walking up to his door after getting home from the gym. And as you're going to see, armed thugs climbed over the wall to his driveway and went up to him and stuck a gun in his back. Being a concealed carry holder, he simply turned around, pulled his firearm, and fired back at the assailants. And what did California do? They suspended his concealed carry permit for protecting his life, his family's lives, and his property.
That homeowner, Vince Richie, joins me now. So what went through your mind when you felt the sidearm go to your back?
Hey, Jesse, thank you for having me on. The first thing that came to my mind was my 5-month-old baby and my wife inside the house. And I wasn't going to let them come inside the house because, as we know, when seconds matter, police are minutes away. And I had to act fast and I had to defend myself.
Are you well trained with a firearm?
I'm trained enough to be a responsible concealed carry holder, and I think that that's the extent of how much I'm trained, the extent of how much I think that everybody should be trained and go further with it. But the minimum requirement that somebody should be trained is to be able to act fast, know when to draw your firearm, when you're in need, and when not to. This is the first time in years that I've ever had to use my firearm and even thought about using my firearm. But it was pertinent at that moment to defend my family that I had to use it.
Well, you look confident, you look very well trained, and you thought fast on your feet, so bravo. What'd your wife say afterwards?
Well, my wife was proud because she knew that she had somebody that would defend her, because obviously the governor, the mayor, has consistently let us down as a society, as a city. They've let us down. Lawlessness became commonplace, and it's pertinent that we have to act and defend our Second Amendment and defend ourselves, because this isn't normal. This isn't, an isolated incident. This isn't just a disenfranchised or the poor that suffer from crime. This is everybody in the city. Families, homeowners, fathers, mothers, single mothers especially. These are people, they're just running down. Somebody gave an article out recently that, this is a brazen attempt that they haven't seen. Down the block, someone was robbed last week the same way, but they just have footage of mine.
Yeah,
that's the only difference.
It's getting more and more brazen, and it's getting more and more commonplace. Well, you're a great father, great husband. We salute you. Thank you very much.
And this is the law of today. We all see time and time again that the politicians of today, again, the Democrats, do not want us as citizens to use our Second Amendment right to carry a firearm. A person who has never been in trouble in his life, went through all the proper procedures and channels to become a concealed carry holder, loses his permit because he was defending his life and that of his family. What are we doing as a country? They would rather you take the beating, take the gunshot, possibly take the injuries of your own family, wife and child, and then call the police and wait for the police to arrive and say, oh, well. That's how they think today. That's the 2A deniers in the Democratic Party. As we've seen time and time again, all they do is blame the firearm for all the mass shootings, all the crime in this country, and they want to take away your rights under the Constitution to be a gun-carrying permit holder. What is happening? That man did everything right. As you saw in the video, the person goes up behind him and sticks the handgun in his side. He turned around, threw his cup, pulled out his firearm, and engaged the suspects. He did everything right. Thank God nobody was shot. Even though they're criminals, I don't want to see anybody get shot. But he did the right thing. And the Los Angeles County sheriffs investigated or are investigating, but they still haven't come up with any leads, And they went so far as to suspend this man's gun permit for protecting his own life and that of his family. When are politicians on both sides of the aisle going to realize that under the United States Constitution, it is our right as law-abiding citizens to carry firearms, either open carry, as we see in some states, or concealed carry? In most states, you have to go through so much red tape to get a gun permit. Sometimes it's not even worth it. They treat you like a criminal because you want to carry a concealed firearm when you know that crime is out of control. Every single major city in this country, the crime is out of control, and the so-called leaders do nothing to combat it. They have less police on the street, and the police that are out there are constrained by the woke policies of the Democratic Party. The police today cannot do their job sufficiently with the leaders they have. And we all know I am a 100% backer of law enforcement. I've been working in law enforcement for over 20 years, and I am an advocate of 2A. I'm an advocate of concealed carry. And yes, we should also be allowed to own a rifle like an AR-15 if we are law-abiding citizens. People today are listening to these asshat politicians who most have never even held a handgun, let alone fired one. These are the people that are making the policies, the ones that are afraid that they couldn't defend themselves if their life depended on it, let alone their family. These are the people who are taking our rights away as American citizens to protect ourselves and our families and our property. Now, we have Republicans also who are against firearms. Why? I don't know. And we all see the Democrats, oh, the extreme MAGA, extreme MAGA. That is such bullshit. I'm so tired of hearing it. It has nothing to do with Donald Trump or any other Republican that want to take away our rights as U.S. citizens. This man is being persecuted because he defended his life and that of his wife and his child. And now he is being labeled a bad guy for doing what was rightfully in his power as a citizen. He wasn't carrying illegal. His firearm was registered. He went through all the proper channels to get a concealed carry permit. And what do the authorities say? Oh, well, we're sorry, Mr. Richie, but you pulled out your gun when you were getting accosted by thugs with firearms. So we got to suspend your permit now because we don't know if that was the right thing to do. California is a breeding ground for wokeness. Gavin Newsom is the leader of the woke Democrats. This clown has destroyed the rights of Californians because he thinks he's doing the right thing. Okay? Gavin Newsom needs to go, and we all know he's doing his world tour because chances are he's going to jump in the presidential race because we know Biden's not going to make it to the finish line. That is the last thing we need as Americans. He doesn't care about the homelessness. He doesn't care about mental illness. He doesn't care about high prices. And he certainly doesn't care about crime. And that's evident in what's happening to Vince Richie right now. So when you go to the voting booth next time around, keep that in the back of your mind. Republican or Democrat, you need to do your research on the people running for office, no matter what party it is. And you got to make sure that they are in line with our Constitution, that they want us to have our rights under the Constitution, and that they're not against law-abiding citizens carrying a firearm. Because there aren't enough police on the street, and the police response is slower because of that. So citizens deserve the right to protect themselves at any cost, or protect another innocent person being held up or robbed. If you're a concealed carry holder and you see a crime and you can potentially stop it, then you need to stop it. The politicians need to wake up because, again, the majority of the gun-hating Democrats and Republicans have never even held a firearm, let alone fired one. They themselves put their own families at risk because they are so woke and so weak. They think nothing's ever going to happen to them. And we've seen plenty of these anti-gun politicians recently getting carjacked in high crime areas, and they still do nothing about it. This needs to stop, and our rights under the Constitution need to stay in place the way they were meant. Law-abiding citizens deserve protection and deserve the right to carry firearms to protect themselves, because the government today does not care, and quite frankly, they never will care. And that's the world we live in. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.